one of the things that I picked up talking to those that on the Wall Street side of this movement today is that they are sincere. And I think a lot of the criticism of they don't have a stated objective, state goal, I think their goal was the first to expose the economic disparity, and that it will lead them on further from there. And I think people shouldn't get in the way of that message. And a lot of us that have organizational affiliation should come in and support it and not try to guide it our way. You are, and I don't mean to insult you, but you're one of the New Guard leaders, and you've been careful to try to be supportive and not try to steer it in a way, because this is not about any of us. This is about a message.
That's right. Well, first of all, I think that they've been criticized for not having message clarity. Well, they may not yet have message clarity, but they have moral clarity, and that's what's been missing. Plenty of messages in Washington, D.C., plenty of proposals and those kinds of things. But these people have moral clarity. They are saying that why should one tiny, tiny group of people be declared too big to fail? No matter what they do, they cannot fail. No matter what the rest of us do, we can't succeed. That's not the American dream. That's the American nightmare. And so for them to go and to stand up and to let their pain be seen has struck something with the American people. I also think that I've been shocked and impressed that the rest of the progressive movement has been both respectful, deferential, letting them do their thing, and yet not letting them fight by themselves. The American Dream movement, which includes now 70 organizations from the SEIU, Planned Parenthood, the AFL-CIO, MoveOn.org, I can go down the whole list, has come in. This week we have added now 250 more protests to this under the banner of jobs, not cuts, make Wall Street pay. There's a new organization that stepped forward now, the New Bottom Line organization is focusing on the banks. You're now seeing, based on this spontaneous protest, the established progressives stepping forward in a way showing more solidarity and more cooperation than we've probably seen for a couple of generations. This is a very positive development, and they will now be able to go from opposition to proposition in due course. And I am proud that the mayor, Bloomberg, has issued the statement they can stay there indefinitely. That means this will grow not just in quantity but in quality. This is a big moment in America.
And I think also, Melissa, as the established progressives has come, now the established civil rights groups, we have a big march Saturday in Washington around jobs and justice, and we all, my going today is signaling we're going to be part of this. Is this the time, though, that we can change the discussion in this country away from just deficit cutting toward really how we distribute the wealth in this country, something progressives that Van Jones is talking about, something Dr. King died talking about, those of us come out of the civil rights tradition, but all of us could meet at the intersection of a real social and economic dialogue in this country?
I mean, that's what would be the exciting possibility to emerge from this. And I think, you know, by signaling here its connection with a very long history of rights-based movements and justice-based movements, I think part of what you point to here with the Occupy movements is that they are putting bodies in space, into our democratic spaces. And part of the reason that matters so much is in a political system like the one we have right now, the power of finances, the power of money to shape elections, to shape the choices that we have in terms of policy, to even shape the discourse about what the problems are or aren't. The only thing that ordinary Americans have really to counter that power of finance, that power of money, is the power of their physical bodies to demonstrate that Americans are people, they're human beings, they're not just a concept. And so I absolutely agree with Van here that part of what's powerful here is to say this is public space, and we are the public. And so by literally occupying it, we demand that you recognize that we are human.
Now let me show you this, Van. I saw some very ordinary, regular Americans of all races, all backgrounds. It was not young white hippies like the press is trying to say, and we're clearly making sure that we continue to support that. But let me show you what Mr. Beck, as in Glenn Beck, had to say.
They will come for you and drag you into the streets and kill you. They will do it. They're not messing around. Those in the media, and I say this, I am included in this, They will drag us out into the streets and kill us. If you're wealthy, they will kill you for what you have. You cannot tolerate this kind of stuff. You certainly don't encourage it.
I mean, this is beyond provocative.
This is despicable. That's despicable, and one of the things that's so terrible is that these young people, I mean, all ages are down there now, but early on it was young people, and when the police came and they arrested them and they were rough with them, the young people were completely nonviolent, and they even said, "We are here fighting for you, police officers. We want to make sure your pensions are intact." It is despicable to then violence bait them when they have been nothing but peaceful and nonviolent. The people who are dividing America are the people, first of all, who are rigging the game. When you rig a game, you divide the playground. The people who have rigged the game on Wall Street, those are the ones who are dividing America. These young people and struggling people are trying to bring the country back together by fixing the game to make sure that it's fair. And I would love to hear some of these Republicans who are attacking these struggling people and young people and calling them divisive say something about this kind of despicable attack on the best people in our country right now. The most selfless are down there on Wall Street, standing up against the most selfish, and they should not be attacked in this way. That is wrong.
Melissa, I mean, when we see this, many of us has been out here and civil rights and other things have been maligned, but to say these young people that are nonviolently protesting will drag you out your house and kill you.
Yep.
I mean, are they getting desperate to protect the rich? I mean, what would even motivate someone to make such an outlandish leap like that?
Right, and I was going to say, Reverend Sharpton, there's a little bit of a clue there in that particular kind of attack, right? Whenever an attack is just outlandish and not based in empirical reality and way over the top, that should always be sort of a pause and say, well, what does this mean moment? Look, if I was sort of a savvy Republican, I would say, hey, any protests going on during a presidential administration, we could just take this and spin it against the incumbent president, right? That any protest could be read and defined as an anti-Obama administration protest, and therefore we should get on its side. So the fact that instead of sort of doing what Republicans often do, which is to make savvy use of a populist movement for their own politics, instead they're turning against this particular populist movement, suggests to me that as you know from civil rights organizing, that whenever people start claiming that you're violent, that you're anti-American, that you're somehow outside the norm,
that's right.
that probably means that you are right in the sweet spot of the thing that is most agonizingly worrisome for them about protection of their privilege. And it is an indication that these Occupy movements are beginning to tap into exactly that.
There's a difference here, Melissa. I can tell you as a civil rights organizer, people don't get savvy when you mess with their gravy, and Wall Street is their gravy.